Today's port report is from Oslo, Norway, a stylish city with history, a fabulous park, and tons of museums. We'll cover the port, transport tips, and some must-see highlights, with a touch of rain. I'm Troy, and this is the Port Lowdown. Oslo is the capital of Norway, along the southeast, tucked inside the upper Oslo fjord. Oslo has a bit of everything. Viking history, seafaring history, up-teen art museums, parks, and sports. Check out this sample from the tourist board website. You get the idea. No excuse to be bored here. It's a compact city with 3 zones of interest to the tourist. The city center around the harbor, which encompasses the Grand City Hall, where the Nobel Peace Prize is presented, the National Museum, the Karljarens Gate shopping street, and train station, among many others. The Bygdoy district, often called Museum Island, with the Norwegian Folk Museum, the Viking Ship Museum, which will reopen in 2026, the Fram, Kon-Tiki, and Maritime Museums, and the Norwegian Holocaust Center. And finally, Vigeland Park, a massive park showcasing the dynamic and playful sculptures of Gustav Vigeland inside an even larger Frogner Park. A must-see. With so much going on, outside tours really aren't necessary unless you wanted the added insight of a guide. Even then, we'd advise going local over the cruise ship tours. The city has 4, count them, 4 docks depending on size. From left to right, and apologies for probably butchering these names, we have the Filipstad dock, which is the furthest from town center and fronts a new shopping area and development. The Sondre Akershus and Vippetangen docks, just south of City Hall, and Revierkai, facing the Opera House on the opposite side. Getting around is your principal concern. From Sondre Akershus and Vippetangen docks, it's a reasonable 15-minute walk north to the City Hall, town center, and ferry dock. Filipstad and Revierkai are about 20 to 25 minutes by foot. From there, you still need to get to Vigeland Park and Bygdoy. Walking to either isn't practical. With that in mind, let's talk public transport versus private taxi or rideshare. Public transportation, bus, tram, ferries, are all run by the same company, Ruter, and use the same ticketing system. To use it, you need to buy a separate ticket or transit pass, which isn't sold on the buses or trams. You could use the Ruter app, but there's been numerous reports that the app doesn't accept US credit cards. You can also buy tickets near the main train station or at 7-Eleven and Narvesen store locations. Now, this takes a bit of effort to buy and coordinate your trip, but worth it for the cost savings if you're single or perhaps a couple. But here's the thing, we were a group of 3. If you've seen our European tips video, here's a link, we argued for balancing cost savings with your time and energy. So we opted for private taxi and rideshare. Here's our total transportation costs. 1 taxi and 2 Uber rides between the 3 zones. 566 Norwegian kroner total, or about $52 US. If we use Ruter and got 24-hour transit tickets at 127 Norwegian kroner per person, total price for 3 is about $381, or $35 US. So we paid roughly 32% more for private transport. For us, that additional 32% paid for quick door-to-door transport, hassle-free. In other words, time and energy. Add to this, taxi ride time is much shorter, of course. No waiting for the bus, stops along the way, and so on. The city is compact, so traffic really isn't a huge issue. Don't get us wrong, public transportation here is great and efficient for 1 to 2 people. 3 or more could do better with Uber or taxi. That is doubly so if people in your group have mobility issues. Even the ferry was more expensive if you count the per person cost. And don't get us started on the Ho-Ho bus. How much is it per day?
It's 405.
405?
Yeah.
More than double our taxi and rideshare costs. Okay, enough ranting about transport. Let's look at our docking port, Filipstad. A pretty basic setup. No real terminal, just tents and a narrow parking lot where you can get your tour bus, private taxi tour pickup, or last-minute Ho-Ho bus ticket. Well, it's quite busy this morning. Parking lot area is kind of narrow, and there's a lot of buses coming in. So just watch your step as you go. But yeah, it's a little bit on the I wouldn't say organized chaos. I mean, it's just a little bit. It's pretty busy right now.
Hi.
Hello. There's also a small group from the Tourist Information Office passing out maps and such. By the way, the official Tourist Information Office is at the main train station, about a 30 to 40 minute hike away. There's a large tent for souvenir shopping. The store is basically open containers. Y'all got the moose, reindeer, and whale salami. Whale salami. Where's whale salami? Oh, here's whale salami. He's a headless troll. Some cheeky person will probably buy that. But no public toilets. Getting out of the port area takes about 5 minutes of walking. Not bad. It doesn't look like that terribly far distance to the town. It's right over here. But you have to kind of walk through the industrial wharf. No big deal. Got some interesting architecture along the way. The art installation Oslo Tree, and a cool park with wild-looking play sets like the seaweed dodgeball tangle and hot dog swing. Here also is a public toilet, pay by card only for 10 Norwegian kroner or about $1 US. By the way, public toilets here are a trip. Check these out near the town center, all paid by card. Cool looking benches, and sports sets too. Try your hand at tightrope balancing. Our goal was to get past the Aker Brygge shopping concourse, which is pretty slick and fun to walk through. Sensitive children and wayward husbands need to avert their eyes from the sculptures. The tricky part was finding a good spot for our Uber ride to pick us up. Just to let you know, it's here in front of this Asia restaurant facing the small roundabout and ferry pier. By the way, if you're like us and enjoy being an independent and informed cruiser, hit us up with a like, and consider subscribing. We put out videos every week on port reports, ship tours, and tips. And thank you so much for all your views, comments, and support. We can't do this channel without you. Now, although it was a Monday and a lot was closed or being renovated, we still saw some amazing stuff. Most importantly, the Vigeland Park. There are several advantages to this site. It's free, it's huge and absorbs the crowds really well, and the sculptures are truly remarkable. Vigeland celebrated the human body, his figures alive with vigor and action. Figures in motion. So they're like toys to play with. You can walk around them and zoom around them, swoop around them. They're meant to be enjoyed in motion. And the grounds are beautiful. Come for the sculptures, stay for the trees. Lovely, lovely park. It reminds me a little bit of Versailles, actually. I mean, it's so well maintained and it's just beautiful. There are paths for wheelchair accessibility, but will require some effort. A must-see for sure. Just mind the pricey bathroom. Next, we got our Uber to the Bygdoy, Museum Island, and our museum pick, the Fram, which tells the story of Norwegian polar exploration. Its centerpiece is the Fram ship, a mostly intact 19th century explorer you can tour inside. This was unexpectedly awesome, if a little unnerving. This is no kidding immersive. This is like, you really are plunged into this world, deep into this ship. It's a pretty amazing experience, but you really have to be able to physically go up and down this area. Make sure you've gone to the bathroom before, because you're going to be following everyone else into a line going in a particular sequence. And it's tight, and it's cramped, and it's busy, so you're not going to have a chance to escape once you're in here. Plenty of surrounding context as well. Plus, the gift shop has some pretty cool and authentic looking stuff. The mug is my favorite. It was raining pretty hard on our way back. Dressed for weather, Oslo gets pretty wet. But we had a great day regardless. Took in a beautiful city and saw some wonderful sights. And that was just a small sample. Oslo needs multiple trips. Have you been to Oslo or have any questions for us? Drop us a line in the comments.